Hey everybody, welcome to Power Hour, starring me, Ron Harrison. This guy, Giles Tiger Thomas, all the way over in the UK. And Giles, we finished up a weekend of one of the greatest Olympias, most exciting Olympia weekends in recent memory. What a show. You stayed up all night. It ended at 7:20 a.m. your time, I think, when we went off air.
Yeah.
Thanks for staying up all damn night. And your commentary, you and Mike, gold, just pure gold. Where to begin? The top four. We're going to start with the Mr. Olympia because I think that's what most people like to talk about the most. Mm-hmm. So let's take a look real quick at your top four finalists. We had previous champ, 23 champ Derek, 22 champ Hadi, 24 champ Samson, and Andrew Jacked, who I have been harshly critical of. I kept seeing him bring a similar package the past couple of years, and I just didn't think he was going to look any better. He surprised the hell out of me and jumped all the way to third place. I mean, we were both buzzing, but especially you because you know Andrew pretty well. But when you were watching these final comparisons, really, what were the main things going through your skull?
I think the main thing was, if you look at the Olympia last year and you look at the Arnold Classic, it looked like Andrew next to Samson looked like Andrew needed another 20 pounds to match Samson because they both got beautiful structure and shape and symmetry. But at the Olympia, it looked the other way around. It looked like Samson needed that lost 20 pounds to kind of look as big as Andrew. So that was my first observation. My other observation was Derek. I take it back because I said in previous Power Hour, I said I think that Pittsburgh being on that extended prep from March to May, I think that will cost him being able to peak for the Olympia, and it probably likely will cost him a good placing at the Olympia. But I take it back. I think he actually looked better than he did at the Arnold. I think he looked even better than he did at the Arnold. And also Hadi, I think on balance, I think overall, I think this was the best package I've ever seen from Hadi, because I know we all refer back to that beautiful 2019 Vancouver. The lighting was perfect, and everything. The certain things like the disparity between his left and his right leg wasn't there. His arms were nice and full, and everything was crispy, but he was a lot smaller. So I think the package he brought, because there is things starting to change on his physique, which comes with wear and tear, but it's still overall, all points considered, I still think this was the best package Hadi's ever brought. Yeah, because it was nice and crisp on the back, wider across the shoulders. The thing I'm looking for with the shoulders, which I thought was actually when we saw that post, I was like, oh no, this is a disaster. But I didn't see it. I didn't see any evidence of that on stage, and I was looking. So I think this was Hadi's best. And the thing is, Hadi won. People are saying like, oh, I've been reading all the comments. Yeah, Hadi was robbed. It's like, no, he won the finals, but he just lost the actual show itself by 2 points. So it was a flip of a coin. It's exactly as we predicted. After we saw the prejudging, we thought, oh, this is a close one. But I agree with the placing. The only placing I disagreed with, I think Martin deserved fourth. I think Samson should have been fifth because I think Martin, when they brought that four out, and then they did that comparison with all the four Mr. Olympias. I think personally, instead of having that comparison with all the Mr. Olympias, they should have put Nick and Martin on either side of the top four, and they should have made it a six-man call-up because I think they deserved it, and I think the crowd would have loved it even more than having all the Mr. Olympias together on stage, which really didn't serve any benefit.
I would have liked to see, they did the four-man call-out at the end. I would have liked to see Martin up there rather than have him in that big call-out of the 5th through 10th guys. But yeah, looking at Martin, because I had written Martin off. I had Martin, I said, he's probably going to drop down to somewhere between 6th and 8th was my guess. Mm-hmm. You didn't lose any faith in him, I don't think. But, geez, he delivered.
I had him. I can't remember where I had him. Did I have him 6th? I think I had him 6th in the lead-up. Have you noticed his back isn't as big, but it's better separated now? Because his rear lat spread last year, I thought was matching Samson's, because Samson's rear lat spread last year was unbelievable. It was incredible. But his rear lat spread is not as big, but he's traded it off because his rear double bicep now, which I thought was his weakest shot, is actually a lot improved. It's smaller, but he's actually got more detail and more pop going on now. So, but I think overall, I think this was the best Martin I've seen, and I think if we'd actually seen him next to Samson at the finals, I think more people would have spotted the fact that actually Martin did deserve fourth.
Yeah, I don't think obviously there would have been some people upset about that, but not too many. Let's get right into Samson, because we were hoping the best for Samson. We saw him at the guest posing. He was in shape earlier than we ever saw, and a lot of people were saying, well, the risk here is he's going to flatten out, peak too early, lose muscle. This was not the Samson that won the Olympia last year. This wasn't even the Samson that took second to Derek. He gave up. I bet he was down to from about, I think he won the Olympia at 305 last year. And I think our best guess is 280, 285. That's my best guess for what we saw.
This was the size Samson was in 2021, maybe even before that. But the thing is, I've heard, I don't know whether this is true, but I heard that they weren't going by the scale. But the thing is, if you say you check the scale and you're like, 5 pound down, I'm going to be probably 5 pound down. You can, a guy that size, that's not really, if the waist is smaller and the glutes and the hams are tighter, then no one's really going to, but if you're dropping like 10, 15, 20, 25 pounds, then I think there's a problem that needs to be addressed. Because the thing is, I've been thinking about this today, well, yesterday as well. People think that there's a very, very big difference between being flat and actually losing muscle tissue. I know they thought probably he could fill back out, but even at Romania, because I was really shocked by the comments when I saw the Romania guest posing. Everyone was like, amazing, amazing, amazing. He's just like, I'm like, he looks like he's kind of, yes, I know the hams and the glutes are tighter, but to me, it looks like he's losing a ton of size. And the thing is, even at Romania, he was still kind of holding on to his legs, but these legs here, they vanished. I mean, his legs looked a lot, because Samson's got incredible legs. He's got incredible symmetry. Yeah. But the legs are really, really lost a lot of size. Now, who was checking him in those final few weeks? Because this is why Dorian had like 3 or 4 people that only he trusted to say, tell me what's going on. What's happening with my physique? I did it when I was competing. I only had 2 people I ever asked and I ever stripped off for in the last few weeks that I ever trusted. But at what point did they ever think to say, or did they look at him and think, okay, there's quite a drastic change here that maybe needs to be addressed? And I know he was obviously pushing for the condition, probably pushing the cardio. And the thing is, I know I'm blocked, but I did actually see a couple of videos that were sharing, and he was doing side-on Smith machine presses, one arm. Yeah. And I just thought, what is the point of doing silly exercise like that? I mean, look at Dorian and Ronnie. You never would have seen Dorian or Ronnie looking like that. I mean, the big guys like Samson, like the 280, 290 guys. I know Dorian wasn't that heavy, but, in terms of muscle thickness and density, he was, I don't understand. I don't really always see the value in that kind of training. And somebody said he was doing a lot of high volume training, and he was obviously doing a lot of cardio. And I know he was very proud about the pictures he posted of his cheeks looking in. And I thought that was great. Yeah. But if I hadn't seen Romania, I wouldn't have been, no alarm bells would have been ringing. But I'll be honest, in Romania, the alarm bells were ringing, mate. And I just wondered who was checking him in those final few weeks, because, like I said, he was holding on to the legs in Romania. But then those last few weeks, like he looks like he lost like several inches off his legs. And all that, like there's just really, I didn't really see how much until somebody posted like a comparison. This was Samson the Arnold. This is Samson Olympia last year. And I tell you what, you really see a difference. But I mean, it's bodybuilding, and and I know he's to lose like what looked like. I mean, I'll be honest, it looks like 20 to 25 pounds, and that's not flatness. And the thing is, you can't. Like I said on the watch party, I said, guys, I'm not expecting much. I'm hoping he comes back for the finals the next day better, but you can't fill out what looks like 20, 25 pounds of lost muscle. I mean, look at him there. That looks like Samson from 2018, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I keep flipping back and forth between last year's Olympia and this year. So that's the point. I think a lot of people don't understand is when you're flat, still have the same amount of muscle tissue mass. Yes. So it's just, it doesn't have much glycogen in it. You can put glycogen in and it fills back out. But if you've lost muscle tissue, you can't get it back. It might take months to get it back, or at least in the very least weeks. You're not going to get it back in 24 hours of sweet potatoes and cream of rice or
Ron. And the thing is, if you push it too hard, then you get the gut distension. I mean, and then all that work that you've put in to get that waist nice and small, because his waist was smaller than it was at the Arnold Classic. I mean, his waist was tiny, but apart from slightly added condition in the glutes and the hams, and the waist being smaller, it was a horrible trade-off, because he lost so much muscle in the process. But I'll be honest, Ron. I mean, you tell me, if this was his first Olympia, where would he have placed?
5th, 6th.
You think if this was his first Olympia, you think he'd be 5th or 6th?
In this lineup, all right, let's somewhere between 6th and 8th, I think would be reasonable. He wouldn't have been out of the top 10, but he wouldn't be pushing for the title at all. But
I mean, I'll be honest. I'll be honest, Ron. I haven't seen many people disagreeing with the fact of how this look was and his placing. And I know some diehard. I mean, I got called disloyal this morning by someone who said, "You're supposed to be his mate. Why are you being disloyal?" And I said, "What exactly am I being disloyal about? Because I'm an analyst. I've been doing this 30 years. So what would you prefer me to say, that he deserves to win when he doesn't? Because if you actually do compare how he looked, I mean, his rear lat spread last year was phenomenal. And even at the Arnold Classic, the rear lat spread wasn't as impressive. I mean, his lats used to come out in like a nice curve out, and now they kind of go, it's like the opposite. It's like a concave kind of concave sort of like angle. It's weird. But thing is, at the end of the day, I reckon I don't think he should do any post-Olympia shows. I don't think he can regain, what like the Samson that won the Olympia last year. I don't think he can regain it in just a couple of weeks. So I'd imagine he'd be doing the Arnold Classic, and he's going to be pissed off, and he's going to be upset for a couple of weeks. But they're going to go back to the drawing board, and I 100% reckon that he's just going to go back to what worked and what won in the Arnold Classic and the Olympia, and that's coming back to the kind of they're going to learn. Hopefully, they're going to learn from these mistakes and rectify it, because this isn't like people. I mean, remember last year when Derek got third, and so many people were saying, "Oh, he's done. His career is over." And look what happened this year, mate.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not writing Samson off for 1 minute. It's just what concerns me is I thought he was going to be so upset from losing the Arnold Classic, but unfortunately, I think it put in his head and his coach / wife Marlena's head that condition, which is fine, but without that size, without his normal size and roundness and fullness, the condition, you couldn't even see it. He doesn't look more conditioned. To me, he didn't look any more conditioned because he was so flat.
He was a little bit in certain areas. Like I said, the waist was a little bit smaller, but I'll be honest. I'll say it. I think it's a rookie amateur mistake, where I've seen it in the amateur ranks over 30 plus years, where you see someone, they go for condition and they're not that, like they are like 2% more conditioned, but they've lost like 20-30% of their size. I've seen it happen many, many times. And at this level, I'm sorry, but it shouldn't be happening, mate. And the thing is, and I know that I've seen some really kind of harsh comments about, whether he should go with a coach. But I'll be honest, mate, if he'd have been prepped by Aceto, Patrick Tour, Neil Hill, would this have happened?
That's a great question. Will we ever know? I mean, I guess the only way to find out is if he hired one of them. I'm sure they would all of those people, Aceto, Patrick, Boss, any of these people would love to have a chance to see if they can bring Samson in at his best ever, because what a feather in the cap that would be for any coach, right? If you could get his Olympia title back next year, he'd be the greatest coach of all time.
I'll be honest, I don't see him working with another coach.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's your wife, you can't just say,
you won't happen, you need your peace at home, and you need your and the thing is, at the end of the day, she did help him win the Olympia last year, and I think as though I know they tried something different for this, but if it ain't broke, why don't fix it? Do you know what I mean? If it ain't broke, you won the Olympia, you won the Arnold Classic with a certain approach. And also, like I said, body weight isn't always the best gauge, but it is a gauge. Like I said, because if it's just a few pounds, then, you could get on stage, and sometimes you can drop 5 pounds and look 5-10 pounds heavier. You can look bigger. When guys go, "Oh my God, you're so improved." And it's like, yeah, I'm 10 pounds lighter. And then you're like, but you look 10 pounds heavier. How many times have we seen that? But when it's what looks like to me, it looks to me like he was almost down to the 2. If he was 305 at the Olympia last year, he looks 280 maximum. I mean, at the pre-judging, you show me that footage, and I'm actually, it's painful to watch, mate.
Yeah, because people think you're a Samson hater. You're not. You were the first guy to have him do a media interview. You put him in your column in MD every month for years before anyone really cared about him outside of the UK. So, you're not a hater. You support the best athletes. That's what you do.
Got him an interview with Ronnie, got helped get him the front cover.
Exactly. But yeah, Samson, next time use a scale. Next time, at least it just like you said, if you see your 285, I'd be like, maybe Maybe don't do 3 hours of cardio a day. Maybe
hang on. Like I said, you need more than one person checking you. You know, because like I said, if he'd have sent me that, if just say he'd have messaged me and said, "Oh, did you see the Romania guest posting, Giles? What do you think?" I'd be like, "Mate, your condition's fine, it's where it needs to be, but be careful." Like if he'd have showed me at 4 weeks and I'd have seen like another size drop, I would have said, "Mate, you know, you're losing size here and you're not really gaining that much condition." You know, I mean, your condition, your glutes and your hams at the Romania was kind of better than when he won the Olympia last year. So you don't need to kind of overkill it. The thing is, I get it. I get, you know, I get the criticisms he's had, but they went overboard. The thing is, like I said, they probably looked at him after every workout, posing and stuff like that. And you'd be able to see, maybe they need more sets of eyes that they trust. Someone in the area to come over once every couple of weeks and say, "Look, okay, this is what I think. What do you think?" And then make notes and kind of go from there, because it's not like that he would have lost all that size like in the last week or something from. Thing is though, remember when Jay 2007, like he was not as good as he was at 2005 or 2006. I think it's like sometimes the pressure of being at the top, you know, and the excitement and obviously and all the anticipation and stuff. I think because thing is, there's more pressure when you're the defending champion than when you're going in as the favorite.
Right. Because nobody expects anything out of the underdog.
Yeah, exactly.
Man,
we've seen it many times, mate. We've seen it many times.
So, you know, we wish him the best, and back to the drawing board. He's still got one of the greatest physiques in this world right now. Things went wrong.
Sorry, one final thing. Like I'm saying that he shouldn't do any post-Olympia shows because he can't probably regain that kind of muscle that fast. But then look what, and I know that Prague is next weekend, so that's 2 weeks after the Olympia. And I know a lot can be done in 2 weeks, but look what Clarida did. So I have to balance this. Look, Clarida at the Olympia did kind of what Samson did. You know, he kind of lost all his fullness and pop, and body parts were just, you know, smaller, visibly smaller. He lost a lot of impressiveness. But then in Prague 4 weeks later, I mean, it came out, and if you watch the live stream, look at this. I mean, if you watch that live stream, if you put the sound on that live stream now, you hear me losing my mind, because I was like, this is bad. He's done it. Because this was not the same Clarida that we saw at the Olympia just 4 weeks before. So it can be done, but I think you need minimum 4 weeks.
True. That was 4 weeks, right? Between those
4 weeks between the Olympia and Prague last year. And like I said, if you brought up the Olympia footage of Clarida, you'd be shocked at how much he kind of got his footing back.
Yeah, it was so bad I deleted it. So
yeah.
I did have it, but I deleted it.
Oh, did you?
I did. Let me find out where did I put this. Need to get out of this.
But I reckon Samson will do the Arnold. I think he knows that if he puts that size back. The thing is that no post-Olympia show. I think he needs to just go. He just needs to go back to what worked. You know, because sometimes I kind of admire them for trying something different. But the thing is, the thing that won you the Olympia and the Arnold, why do you need to do anything different from that?
You know, I think we have to take some responsibility, all the media people, even the fans, because all we railed on about for the past couple of years is Samson's never been ripped. Samson always has a few extra pounds he should drop, and he overcorrected. They took that to heart, and they just went too far in that direction of chasing that condition and losing that pop, that wow factor that got him the Arnold title, that got him the Olympia title. He's a big guy, and we've said it before, these taller guys, when they're flat, when they lose muscle, it's a lot more noticeable because they have such long limbs and bigger frames in general versus like a shorter guy. It's not as apparent when they lose a little bit of muscle or they come in a lot.
The physique itself has actually brought more value than the condition, because he won. He, even without that condition, he won the Arnold and the Olympia. So, you know, you can go, because apparently the judges gave him feedback, you need to get ripped. It's like, yeah, but you go to feedback for judges. You don't usually see the winners at shows going and asking for feedback. Usually, you know what I mean? They'll just, they'll say that they go when they've got 5th or 6th and they want to improve.
Right.
I just, like I said, I think Samson should get more eyes on him in those last few weeks, because that's where I think they slipped up, because, you know, that wasn't, like I said, that wouldn't happen in the final week. You wouldn't lose 25 pounds of muscle in the last week. It would have been a gradual process over those final 8 weeks, which we saw in, like I said, 6 weeks out in Romania.
Yeah. So Derek Lunsford, man, I give him a lot of credit, because I was not confident he would be able to bring his best package after being in prep so long. 24 Olympia was last October. He had a very little time, maybe 6 weeks of downtime before he had to prep for the Arnold. He wins that. Then he had almost no downtime, had to get right back in and prep for Pittsburgh Pro, wins that. And he was going for the Triple Crown, win all 3 of those in 1 year, which is it's an amazing feat. Also must be stated that he's the first man since Cutler in 61 years of the Mr. Olympia contest to lose the Mr. Olympia title and get it back. So now we finally have a second person that's done that.
No, I totally agree. And do you know what? I've been going back and forth the last couple of days on social media and on the comments on YouTube and everything, because I just sometimes I kind of realize how good people like yourself are, because we can, like, a lot of people just don't like Derek. They don't like him. They don't like his persona. They don't like the religious side of him. There's things they don't like about him, and they allow or based upon the fact that they reckon he shouldn't have beat Hadi 2 years ago when he won, but they can't get past it and basically talk about what they see here and now. And like on the watch party, we were watching it, and I'm like, I think he's going to win it, because and the thing is, I wouldn't say he's going to win it if I didn't think he deserved it, because I think he looked. I mean, every physique had he's got no biceps, he's got no this, yeah, but every physique in that lineup has strengths and weaknesses. No one is perfect. But I think on balance, I thought he's going to bloody win this. And so I've been going back and forth with people who really can't get past their own personal emotional response. I mean, I said to one guy, I said, mate, you need to check your emotional responses to your decision making. I said, because it's a very feminine trait. It's like, you know what I mean? Because do you know what? I was actually talking to funny enough, I was in Sweden, I was talking to a judge, and they were talking about how some female judges are great and some aren't, because some, when they're discussing, judging certain categories, they'll all say, so then these bikini, why have you got so? It's like, why have you got so and so in third? It's like, and the judge will just say, well, I just don't like the way she looked at me on stage, or the way she looks in the audience, or I don't like the way she carries herself and stuff like that. So sometimes people can have these kind of unconscious biases that really spills into their decision making. But yeah, I've been going back and forth, and I'm really happy for Derek. I think he deserved it. It was bloody close between him and Hadi, and I think, like I said, apart from 4th and 5th swapping round, I had no problems with the placings, mate.
Yeah, and it was very, very close. It was a 2 points between Derek and Hadi. Just like last year, Hadi was ahead of Samson at judging last year, right?
Yeah. And people were saying about Samson. I said, no. I said, Samson, people have been criticized. The people who really are against Samson, and he's the worst Mr. Olympia. And I was like, hang on a minute. Yes, this was not his day. This was not his weekend. But last year at the finals, he was the best man on stage, and he fully deserved to win that. Like you said, I said at the pre-judging, it was close between him and Hadi. It could have gone Hadi. It could have gone. It was never going to go Derek because he was off. But right. I said at the finals, when he walked out, I knew straight away that he was going to win it, and he did. Yeah,
I mean, the fact, like I noticed this, I made note of this during the 4.5 hours we were talking Saturday night. His legs seem to be every other contest, great, not great, great, not great. Yeah. Last year's Olympia, so 23, he wins the Olympia. Legs are popping, bursting full for him. 24 Olympia, they're flat. 25 Arnold, full. 25 Pittsburgh, flat. 25 Olympia. So he needs to really watch the timing of these contests. I'm just happy for him because he's a really good guy.
I think if you look back to the 23, I think his legs were their best at that Olympia. But like you said, I think his legs look bloody good here. It's just, and have you noticed as well, he's got a little bit more detail going on in his chest, and his inner chest. That there's definitely more details and striations there. Is this the Olympia from the 2024?
24, yeah. I want to see.
Yeah, I can tell because his legs aren't as good.
Look at the difference. How much smaller his legs look when they're.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a flat like we just talked about with Samson. I think he loses some of his leg mass at times, maybe from excess cardio. Who knows? But yeah, that versus this, big difference. Big difference.
I just the only thing I wish he could try and address is the biceps. I just don't know, because thing is he had nice kind of peaks and stuff. They weren't like the left one is completely flat when he lifts it up. And thing is, remember when in 22 and 23 when he hit that frontal bicep? I know he had the weird looking lumps on his lats in 23, but when he hit that frontal bicep, that was kind of one of his money shots. That was the shot in 22 when he did the front relaxed. And the frontal bicep, that was the shot. Because I'll be honest, that's the best front double I've ever seen from Hadi. I think my eyes are drawn to Hadi first, and then maybe Andrew or Derek. Yeah, I mean, but I think the front double bicep was that was Hadi's shot in this one, mate.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, let's take a look at Hadi.
Hadi looked good, man. He was crisp from the back. He was crisp from the back. He was full. He was nice and wide. He didn't have dodgy shoulders again. He was tight. I think this is the best Hadi I've ever seen, mate. Honestly.
Which is, I was worried that we were kind of probably seeing a slight regression. Yeah. In the lead-up photos and everything, I wasn't overly impressed with what I was seeing. I was almost certain he was going to drop down to 4th or 5th.
Big time. Me too, mate. Me too. And I'll hold my hand up to that because, like I said, we can only go on what we've seen, and we're scouring all the Instagram, and everyone's, because we're all waiting for some sort of update that we can sort of, make our opinion on. And I'll be honest, what I saw, even Derek as well. Remember, I said to Derek, he looks really soft to me, really soft. And then got on stage and he looked absolutely fantastic. So it shows that, and then you got Nick, who looked like Mr. Olympia in every single photo. And he got on stage and everyone was kind of like, most people were just kind of disappointed. So you can, there is, it's tricky to try and sometimes make an opinion based upon what they're releasing in those final few weeks, and there's a lot of trickery that goes on with lighting and editing and even photoshopping. I'm sure it goes on, mate.
Yeah. So obviously I knew the two most passionate fan bases that the sport has are Brazilian fans and I don't know if it's just Iranian or Middle Eastern in general. Let's just lump them all together, Middle Eastern, because I don't think all of his fan base, Hadi Choopan's, he has fans all over the world, of course, but I think the Middle East is probably where he's got the largest concentration of fans. Yeah. They were very, very upset about this. Luckily,
I get it.
I don't read Farsi, so I couldn't even understand what they were saying halftime, but they were upset. They feel like he was robbed. What do you think Derek had him on? Why do you think Derek beat him?
Thing is, it's when you look at a physique and you've got that trained eye, it's whatever your eyes are drawn to first. It's like when he hit the frontal bicep, that was better than Derek's. So I looked at that and I went, holy shit. I'm not going to break it down body part by body part like some people do. Yeah. It's how the whole physique flows. Like when I look at the frontal bicep there, I do see the disparity between his left and right leg. I don't see it, but it's still, like I said, most people wouldn't notice that because they've got nothing to compare it to from, say, 2020 when he didn't have that disparity. I just, like I said, we were doing I was on the group chat, wasn't I? So the first half of the day on Friday, I was like, Hadi's got this. I thought Hadi had it. And then as the day went on, I think even though people are saying Derek didn't look as good at the finals, I kind of switched to Derek and I kind of stuck with that. Maybe it's because I see where the judges are placed, and maybe that has an influence on me as well. But I was kind of 40% of the time, I was like, okay, Hadi's got this. And then kind of as the day went on and the weekend wore on, I thought Derek's got it.
It probably came down to the back. I mean, I can't think of overall flow. Derek does have a little better shape and structure. He's one of the greatest bodybuilders of this generation. With that clavicle width, especially for a shorter guy. But Hadi was right there with him. I wouldn't have been upset had Hadi won. I don't think too many people would have.
No, I mean, absolutely. No, absolutely. I wouldn't have been shocked. In fact, my heart was beating like hell when that final 2 was announced because, like I said, when I saw we got the live watch party to prove it. I actually said, I think Derek's got this, but, and then I kept kind of saying it with a bit of a question mark at the end of it, but it could have gone either way, mate. And thing is, the Hadi fans probably would have been less disappointed than if Hadi had got 6th, because second for them, and it being so close, and you saw that the way they were being positioned, it must be it's so near yet so far, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's been second a few times now. Yeah, I don't think he's been any lower than 3rd ever in the Olympia, has he?
3rd. I got 4th, didn't he, in 2020?
Okay, but yeah, he's been very, very consistent.
And 21.
All right, this was the surprise of the show. The best surprise of the show was Andrew Jacked.
Sean Clarita's just messaged me.
Oh, right on. I wasn't even sure Andrew was going to be in the top 5. I didn't have him in my top 5, did I?
Yeah, silly Ron.
So when I take accountability. Yeah, I had him. Shit, I had him in 8th.
Oof. Ron.
See, where do you have him? You had him in 5th. Wow. So he surprised both of us in a good way. The condition was finally that extra level from the back, which I've always found he was just a little blurry the glutes, the hams, the back detail. I don't know what changed. I'm sure it was just a change in outlook or the approach. I doubt his prep was very different, although, you know, I'd love to talk to him and find out. But
there's no issues with his glutes and hams there, is there?
I'd still want to see a little more hams. They're great, but if his side leg was just a little bit more ham drop, or, you know, bulge, whatever you want to call it, bulge. If his hams were a little bit bigger, I'd be like, he's done. That's nothing else is needed. But third place, and a ton of people were picking him for the win. A ton of people.
Do you know what? There was a lot of people, and I was actually saying, look, I'm Andrew's friend. I'm whatever. I'm rooting for him. I'd love to see him win it, but I think he's going to be a solid third, and I maintained that the whole weekend based upon what I saw, what I thought, where the judges were placing him. You know, because I don't really pay attention to comments and all that and stuff. Because I know that I think people were so impressed with the improvements and the fact that he'd addressed the areas that that people were criticizing him for. Because like it was there was a I think it was at the finals, and there was like a camera right from the top, and it was really angled down. And my eyes just went. And he did a side shot, and eyes went to the ham drop, and I was like, "That's new." And then when he turned to the back, I mean, the first time he turned to the back, my eyes just popped out and stalked, because the glutes and the hams we've never seen that from him. We've never seen them striated. We've never seen them, like, because he'd increased the conditioning, the development. The hamstrings look perfect to me. And also the back as well, because he's got a beautiful back, but it was never like crispy, was it? It was always like he's hard from the front, hard from the side. You know, and then we saw him at FIBA. I know he was kind of a last minute thing and he jumped in, but he gambled there because he could have lost that if anyone bigger names had turned up. You know, he kind of won that at 80%, but again, his glutes were super soft there. But what he did, I mean, bringing in like a top to toe condition package, front, side, every angle, because sometimes you get areas where, you know, your body was there, like Derek, sometimes you'll have areas that don't seem as conditioned as others, but like what Andrew brought was, it's like Brandon Curry, the first time I've ever seen him with top to toe conditioning and separation in every single body part. And that's exactly what Andrew did. So, but Kamal would talk. I just messaged literally before we started. Andrew was messaging back and forth, and I said, "Kamal told me, mate." I said, "He told me that you made those improvements," and he said, and he just messaged back and he says, "Oh, did he?" So I'm going to message him back after this because I mean, I've known Kamal since 1997, and you know those bloody Libyan guys, they're brutally honest and brutally open. They won't sugarcoat it. You know, if he was terrible, like, he would have just said, "Oh, Andrew looks terrible, mate." He would have told me. You know what I mean? And there's no sort of holding back. But I think Andrew, for me, along with Martin, Vito, and also Brandon Curry, I think were the ones that really surprised me.
Yeah, and I want to say, remember, we were kind of concerned, like, well, he deserves third place, but they're not going to give it to him. They're not going to let Samson slip. This just really reinforces to me that the judging is a lot more fair, objective, impartial than it's ever been in the history of the sport. It's getting better and better, to the point where he was able to get over the reigning Mr. Olympia, which in old days, no way. I can remember Olympias where the reigning Mr. Olympia was off, he still won. Well, he was really off, and they still put him in like second when he deserved fifth or sixth or seventh. Those days are gone. The judges.
Well, I can reveal now that Andrew's just literally told me an hour ago he's doing the ALD and he's doing the ALD UK, because I said, "Mate, go get that cheddar," and I put a cash emoji next to it. I said, "Go get that 750K," and he said, "Yes, sir."
Yes, sir. That's the only
so Andrew and Martin are both in the Arnold. Derek Lunsford was asked at the press conference, and he says, "No, I think I need to focus on being a father and a husband." So that tells me that he's not going to do the Arnold. I mean, I wouldn't, because he's just won $1.2 million in prize money by winning the Arnold, Pittsburgh, and the Olympia. And of course, he would have been on prep all year. And, you know, he's got a baby as well. So he's good to go. He's not going to do the Arnold. So that really brings and I'd imagine Samson will be doing it as well. So the Arnold class is going to have possibly Samson, definitely Andrew, and definitely Martin. So already it's shaping up to be incredible. And who knows what Nick Walker will do as well.
Yeah, let's Martin, I just want to, again, congrats, because this was a fantastic look. Where did I have Martin? Let's see. How low did I put Martin in my predictions? Ooh, I had him in fifth. Okay. Actually, I was bang on.
Yeah. He deserved fourth, though, mate. I'm telling you, like last year when he deserved third over Derek, you know. So it shows you just how little is separating these guys, because, back when like peak Dorian, peak Ronnie, peak Phil Heath, we for like 3-4 years at least of each of their reigns, we knew who was winning pretty much unless something went wrong. But it just shows you now that the Olympia title could change hands every single year now, I think, for the next few years. I mean, I said to Andrew, mate, I said, you could pull a Derek next year and win everything.
True. So we're looking at this was 5th through 10th. Yeah, the light, it was very dark. It was very dark, this live stream.
On the live stream, it was terrible, mate.
That's why I'm so glad Gilco Productions put up those other videos so you can appreciate what the guys really look like, because this is just...
Yeah. The Arnold will be rubbing their hands watching this, mate.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean by that, don't you?
Yeah. Like,
yeah. They'll be like, okay, because at the end of the day, there's a bit of a rivalry, I know they support each other and they coexist, but at the end of the day, they are trying to outdo each other. So the Arnold now is probably going to make their lighting and all that even better for the just to kind of. But it's good. Competition's good, and. It's all good. But sorry, mate, go on.
No, they don't support each other, Giles. Who are we kidding? Come on.
Okay. Sorry, I was just trying to put a positive spin on it, Ron.
Why should they? They're business rivals. Why should they support each other? It's like, does Coca-Cola support Pepsi? No, of course not.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the Olympia really, I remember when the Olympia Expo was pretty small, and now, because the thing is, that brings in a lot of revenue. And then obviously the Olympia added it added an expo, then it added an amateur show, which of course brings in the revenue, which the Arnold has been doing forever. Yep. So I can see that maybe supplement companies and exhibitors might think, or amateur competitors might be, should I do the Arnold or should I try and go for the Olympia amateur or exhibit at the expo? So I suppose they basically our rivals.
Oh, of course they are. I mean the expo, the Arnold Expo is aside from. I know the FIBO is much, much larger, but compared to the Arnold, the Olympia Expo is not quite as extensive. It doesn't take you 2 days to go through everything at the Olympia.
Do you know what? The Arnold Expo used to give me anxiety, mate. It used to stress me out because it was so busy. I mean, you're talking 100,000 people, and that's in a couple of halls, that amount of volume of people going through. I mean, it was too much for me. Like I'm not used to being around that many people. So the thing is, we'd have to like push our way through back and forth to go to the toilet, when we were doing the pre-judging for the 212, we'd have to get off, push our way through with all our equipment and then try and find a seat and then have to go back and find a spot where we could do the interviews or wrap ups. And oh my God, it was pandemonium. It was good fun though. Good day. I'm not complaining, mate.
All right, Nick Walker. So obviously a lot of Nick Walker fans were really hoping he was going to be what we hope of any underdog, can get past all these reigning Mr. Olympias and everyone else. First place is what they're hoping for. I was a little concerned when I heard how heavy he was, but I was like, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what it's going to look like on stage, because I heard he was about 260 at Pittsburgh, where Derek barely beat him. And then I heard he'd gained 10 or 12 new pounds of muscle mass. I'm like, this is a guy that didn't need to be any bigger. He's already the biggest guy up there, pound for pound, height and weight. And to me, I know the condition was still good, but to me, the midsection got blockier, got thicker. He was never an aesthetics guy anyway. He never had that really pleasing overall flow and shape to the physique. But I see this as he can correct it, I think. I'm not saying this is impossible, but I was not happy with this look that he brought.
He did the opposite of Samson, didn't he? He was trying to push the body weight up, and Samson's trying to push the body weight down to get improved. I mean, I don't know whether Samson thought he was trying to improve his aesthetics by coming in lighter. I suppose by trying to bring the waist in, which they thought the Arnold, I can get it. But Nick proves that big is not always better. We've seen guys when they come back 10, 15, 20 pounds heavier, and it's like, actually, you kind of like, I mean, I'll be honest, there is an argument for the fact that he looked better at the 2021 Arnold Classic when he was a lot lighter, but he had those beautiful, thick, chunky abs, and he had more of it, because he's never going to be like a Paul Dillette, wide shoulders and tiny little narrow waist, or, like a Dexter Jackson. He's never going to have that look. But is he 10 pounds better, or is he just 10 pounds heavier?
Just to me, it's 10 pounds heavier. So this was 10 pounds less.
I see it now. I see it.
The waist is not as wide. It's not.
I see it. Yeah. Do you know what? I've been arguing back and forth with someone today that a couple of people are saying, no, he was better in Pittsburgh. And I'm like, no, I think he brought a great package to the Olympia. His condition was good. He was bigger. But I see it now. I do. Yeah, I see it there, because the shoulder to waist is better. And He's
very important.
The legs don't look as much of a weakness here, do they? So I think he needs to. The thing is, he's really concerned about pushing. His side chest was better at the Olympia, and his back shots were better at the Olympia. And his condition, I thought the Olympia was fantastic. I mean, his back shots, I think his rear lat spread and his rear double bicep was absolutely amazing. I think it was actually comparable to Derek and Hadi. I really do.
Yeah, it was. Let's go back even further. 22. No, what did I want? Nick Walker, 2022. Yeah. This is when he took third place at the Olympia. Yeah. Today his highest. Yeah. He's never going to have a small waist, but it can be smaller. It doesn't. His midsection doesn't need to be as thick as it is. Look at that.
Ron, imagine if he could get a couple of inches off his waist. Because remember when Ruli went to Kuwait in 2013 when he left Grandma, Sybil, and he went to Kuwait and he put on 30 pounds. 30 pounds, and then he competed. I think it was Finland, and I remember seeing the pictures on the MD website, and I almost cried when I saw it. I went, "Oh, he's done. It's game over for him. He's put on 30 pounds, but he's ruined his structure. He's ruined his shape." And then in 2016, me and Ronnie went to the Body Power Pro. That was Nathan Diash's pro debut, where he got second because Ruli and Nathan were training together. And I remember when, as soon as Ruli came out, and I nudged Ronnie because Ronnie was on his phone looking on Instagram. He wasn't interested. And I said, "Ronnie, what's happened?" And he came up, and then Ruli in the pose down came down. He posed in front of us, and I took a phone picture, and I posted it. And I said, "Guys, I know this looks Photoshopped, but I swear on my life, I swear on my cat's life, this is not Photoshop because his waist just looked like." So just imagine that with a narrower waist. I mean, I still think he needs more chest and legs, but I mean, the thing is, it's like Rami for those many years. He was just becoming a bigger, same version with the same strengths and weakness, just bigger. He didn't really address his weaknesses. Then in 2020, he addressed the hams, he addressed the calves, he addressed the glutes, and he kind of just balanced everything out. So Nick now, I really, really hope he doesn't focus on the scale anymore. I hope he kind of throws it out. But he really needs to focus on balancing everything out, bringing the quads up, bringing the waist in, bringing the chest up. And thing is, as a result, he'll just look bigger anyway. So, but this focus on body weight has really hurt him for this Olympia, mate.
Agreed.
But I think sixth was fair. I think I had him solid sixth the whole weekend.
So to me, Andrew was one big surprise in the lineup, but Brandon Curry, I was not expecting much from Brandon.
Ooh.
Where did I have him? Did I even have him in my top 10? Oh, I did. I had him eighth, and he was seventh. Mm-hmm. You had him eighth as well. Yeah. So we were both pretty close. I didn't think he was going to be any better. I thought he was going to start slowly regressing, and this is better by far than he's looked the past couple of years, I think.
Yeah, because the thing is, he's always, even when he won the Olympia and the Arnold Classic, he always lacked that bit of crisp separation in the quads. But I think this is the best. I know because his upper body, if you remember how he looked a few years ago, his upper body isn't quite as big. Because remember when he hit that front lat spread at the Arnold in 2019, you and me were sat in the front row, like just literally around from Arnold. And I remember just going like, wow, it was fucking huge. But like, I think this was a very respectable package. Because Brandy and his coach said to me on the Instagram on social media last week, they said, he's better than he was at the Arnold. And I was like, well, if that's true, then I'm really, really happy for him. And they were right. He absolutely was. So I think this was a great package. And I told you that I didn't see Bonac and Curry falling out the top 10.
You're right. You usually are right. I got to say, you got a pretty darn good track record when it comes to that. But
people still argue with me on Instagram, though. No, I like. Do you know what? It's we all have opinions, and it's a subjective sport. But at the end of the day, it's a visual sport, isn't it? In the end, so we spend a lot of time looking at these guys. I spend a lot of time looking at oily, muscular men.
Men in thongs, as we say.
I spent 35 years looking at oily, muscular men. Oh, yeah. I'm sure that's a life well spent.
Exactly. So they don't have anything. Didn't put anything of Tonio up, but Tonio looked good. I just want to put. I'm only showing the Gilco. I love the Gilco footage, of course. This was kind of a letdown. I all the people that were saying next to it could be top 5. I'm like, no, there's just no way. I'm sorry. And he ended up in where was he?
15.
So 50. He made top
what 15. I expected.
Yeah, I'm more than.
Yeah, it was what I expected. I didn't see him as top 10, Ron. I knew he'd be 11th to 15th guy. I wasn't disappointed by him. He kind of brought what I expected. Actually, a little bit better than I expected, actually.
So that being said, if he was in better condition here than when he won Dubai and was it Portugal he won the other show? What does he need to do? Because I still see like almost no separation in those quads from a distance, especially. This is a weird. His frontal bicep really bothers me. People say you're a hater. You're a hater. I'm just calling what I see, guys. I have nothing against Rubiel. I'm not like a good dear friend of any of these guys I'm complimenting in the top 5. I just call it like I see it. I have structural issues with Rubiel, and I have issues with that lack of separation and detail. But it was a good package for him. It's just I can't see this guy ever winning the Mr. Olympia, like people say.
Ron, when I said that this was the best I've seen him, he's still got a long way to go. But I think like in his chest and stuff, I saw detail, and in side shots, I saw detail I'd never seen before. So when I say this is the best I've seen him, he's still, obviously the legs still need to come in. The back needs to, the back shots for me are just like, I put my hands over my eyes because yes, he's huge, but I mean, he looks 6 weeks out from the back. There's no getting away from it. So I just wish someone could get hold of him. And what if he weighs? What does he weigh on stage? Do you know?
Let's say it's 270 because I think it's around 270.
Bring him down to 255. He'd look absolutely insane. But is he willing to drop 10? Because I'll be honest, that's not £5. That's more like 10 to 15, mate. In fact, I know if Neil Hill or Patrick Tour got hold of him, they probably, or Dorian Yates, they probably pull him down. They probably pull him down 20 pounds, mate. I don't think that much, but I think 10 to 15 pounds off that would be top 10 Olympia.
That's fair. That's fair. Top
because he's huge, mate. He's got everything. He's not missing anything, and I just think
he's well within his grasp. I don't want to make it sound like he sucks. He doesn't suck, guys. But
no. I'm
talking about the greatest bodybuilders in the world. Vito was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
10th place. Very respectable Olympia debut.
Yeah, brilliant.
He brought it. Condition, big guy, great shape, and he's 27. Yeah. Still a youngster.
And also, mate, from the back, because I never used to like his back shot. When I saw the Arnold Brazil, I didn't like his back shots. I thought his back was really, but his radial bicep there is improved. His rear lat spread is massively improved. So he's moving forward, mate. He's moving up. He's moving forward. I mean, I didn't see him as a top 10 guy. I thought he'd be a lot lower than that. But he made significant strides forward in this one. So I think there was a benefit in him doing the Olympia, mate.
There was a benefit. And he's actually getting better at posing. He's not as awful as he was.
Yeah, no, he's good. The thing is, mate, like I said with Rubiel, it's like Rubiel's getting better, but there's still room for improvement. Like so if you're moving forward and you're getting better and you're like, I got a good response on a comment I made about Urs. And I said, this is a solid debut for Urs. And I said, the only way is up from here. And people loved it. You know, I was expecting people to be, fighting back against me, but obviously a lot of people agreed that, because at the end of the day, there's levels to this, and the guys in their 20s aren't going to be reaching their physical peak, are they? There's not many that kind of can't get any better, and they're like Urs or Vito. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done, but so it makes it exciting for years to come, right?
Yeah, and Urs placed about where we thought. We thought somewhere between 11th and 15th. That's where he's going to fall. It's exactly where it was. He was 13th. I said
12th, 13th, and I said 12th or 13th.
Correct, and he's 13th, and that's a great Olympia debut for a guy who was 30 pounds lighter last year. 30 pounds lighter, 35 pounds lighter. So that's he's well on his way. He's a work in progress. He needs a lot more back. He needs a little more overall size in general, which he's 5'11", 260. Sounds like, how dare you? How can anyone say that's not a big guy? We're comparing him to Andrew Jack and Samson at his best, and Hadi and Derek. They're much thicker. I think he's going to be a top 5 guy eventually. It's going to take a couple of years though. Yeah,
I totally agree with everything you've just said there, Ron. He's like I said, he placed where I expected. He looked fantastic. I mean, just a couple of months ago, I was thinking, he's going to be 8th in this pro show, and then he ends up winning it. And like, I didn't think this was possible. A couple of months ago, I didn't think this was possible. If you'd have said Urs could win could you see Urs winning 2 pro shows and making top 50 in the Olympia in the Open? I probably would have laughed.
No,
I probably would have laughed and said you've been smoking crack. also, did you see the shit Ronnie got for weeks ago saying that he had Hadi winning and he had Samson in 4th, and he took some real shit for that, mate. I was talking to him about it this morning, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Ronnie called it. Ronnie doesn't always follow the sport that closely, but I think this year he took a little more interest in the Olympia than he typically would for whatever reason.
Because the thing is, Ronnie probably saw the Romania stuff and thought exactly what I thought, mate.
But that was bold, and he was bang on. Samson did drop down to 4.
Yeah.
So here was another great show, the 212 Olympia.
Yeah.
So we didn't expect, that was another surprise, was how good Sean Clarita looked. I was not expecting Sean to be anything more than what we'd seen before, but this was, I don't know, maybe the best Sean that I've ever seen. Certainly far better than he was at last year's Olympia when Matt Jansen brought him in flatter than a pancake, a very flat Clarita.
Yeah.
And he pushed him. It had to be close between these two.
Well, at the prejudging, I had Clarita winning.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what did you base that on?
Just purely, just basically what I saw. I thought Sean looked I thought he was even there. Look at that rear shot there. I mean, who'd have thought that Sean Clarita would be taking Keon in the rear double bicep? I mean, I never would have seen it happening. And we were all kind of blown away by Keon's updates and all his videos and photos. But I think just the fact that, because I thought there'd be a big gap between first and second. And I know that Keon won was straight first and stuff, but I think Keon did look better for the finals. He definitely pulled ahead for the finals. But at the prejudging, myself and a lot of people had Clarita winning it. It's just that, like I said, Keon got better for the finals, whereas kind of Sean stayed the same. But and also the midsection on Keon, I'm a little bit concerned about. And like I said, this moving to open thing, I know he's in Prague next weekend. He'll probably win that based upon who's doing it. But I think, in fact, because got Keon and Martin going against each other next weekend.
Oh, geez.
So I don't think this slam dunk and this is easy, clear winning the Open, and he's the best physique on the planet. And he's going to win the Olympic. Because I was arguing back and forth with someone who put a picture of Ramon, Keon, and Derek, and they said if there had been an overall at the Olympia, who would have won? And I'll be honest, mate, 80% of people said Keon, and I went, "You're crazy." I said, because look, take Ramon out of it. I mean, that's just a ridiculous thing to say. Let's talk about when you talk about an overall. I said Keon could have been beaten by Clarita last week, and if Clarita was in the Open Olympia, would he have beaten Derek or had he? No, he wouldn't. So for Keon to barely beat Clarita, to then say that Keon's the best out of, because kids, obviously people just don't like Derek, so they're blinded, they're blinkered, so they just go, oh yeah, Keon. I'm like, I don't think he really paid that much attention to this Olympia, because if Keon had been in the Open Olympia, he wouldn't have beat Derek, or had he, or probably Andrew.
Yeah, why is this not moving? Come on, Gilco footage. I'm trying to show you guys. Why is it frozen on me?
I didn't see it coming though. I didn't see that Clarita would push him to the absolute limits. So. And the thing is, you said that Keon wouldn't give you an interview because you're supporting Clarita. Well, it's kind of and he's the same with me, because I said to Patrick, I said, do you think you'd be interested in doing a tour? And he says, I don't think so, because you've been supporting Clarita. This was in early 24, and he said, you've been supporting Clarita, and he says, and Keon's not happy about that. See? And I said, hang on a minute, we're not talking about some also ran guy. We're talking about someone that, and I think how Sean did and looked at this Olympia just proves why we were kind of picking Clarita, because he's not. Keon did not blow Clarita away, not even far from it.
No, I think it was really just an issue of structure and shape. That's where Keon just has this massive advantage over almost everybody in the division.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So, look at that. I mean, that's damn near perfect shape and structure. When that comes in with size and condition, you can't beat it. I mean, Clarita just has a little more, I should say, less clavicular width. He doesn't have that really pronounced V-taper extreme, and that's what hurts him. But he was right there. I mean, old man muscle. He had better muscle density and detail, that seasoned, mature look to the muscles in Keon, because I think what's the age difference? 30 for Keon versus 44 versus to Sean. Sean's got
43 or 42. But the thing is, like now Keon next weekend, I mean, I know he's got no 212 to weigh in for. Do you think he say he comes in it? Because Patrick told me that Keon was ready for weeks at 220. So I'd imagine he's probably going to be close to 220 by the time he steps on stage next week. So a 220 Keon versus what we saw from Martin, if he brings something similar, do you think that's close, or do you think Keon could win, or do you think he could beat Martin? Or
Martin had far better condition than what we're seeing here.
Yeah, and I still think Keon needs more chest. And to be honest, and a lot of people have been commenting on the midsection because it is a little bit distracting, mate. I've got to be honest, and he's got to watch that, because I think all this Keon's going to go to the Open and win the Open Mr. Olympia and be 230 and all that. I think he needs to maybe stay in 212 and just do what he's doing now and just jump in the occasional Open show just to see, and also because I want to see him. I want to see how he looks without the 212 restriction. So I'm really excited to see him next weekend, mate.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just wonder: does he need the extra? Is he going to be fuller and less conditioned? Is he going to be fuller with the same condition? He's not going to be bigger and fuller with more condition. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, but Patrick said he was ready at 220. So to come down to 211, he's going to lose a lot of fullness, which he might not be able to regain all of it with a day or so later to compete in the 212. So I reckon that Keon, because Patrick's going to be there, he's going to be watching him. I think Keon's going to look better than he did at Olympia. I think actually with no restriction, I think you'll see basically what we're seeing now with another 5-6 pounds. That's what I predict.
Fair enough. All right, let's go to
Tiger knows his stuff.
Yeah, let's see. We need to get rid of that. This is live editing. I don't know how to edit, so this is how I edit, guys. So Marco, what was his name?
Lucas Garcia.
Lucas Garcia. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
So here we have Nick Walker.
Yeah, this was another surprise because I know he won 2 shows, but you had him in your predictions. You had him ranked pretty highly. I was like, I don't know. Again, this is a guy who was not on my radar, but now I know who he is, even though I just messed up his name. And very, very impressed. I mean, it was still a 2-man show between Keon and Sean. I don't think anyone else was close to them, but this guy really brought tremendous 212 package. And I see him climbing up the ranks. And, when Keon moves out and Sean moves out eventually, this could be a champion eventually.
Do you know what he needs to not do? He needs to not get tanned and then go and lie down, because look at him when he turns to the back. All his tans come off where he's been, I think is where he's been lying down, or he's had clothes on. Because his tan looks really patchy there. That's not the lighting. Look at the bits of his chest. He looks pink in some areas and then brown in others. Look, wait till he turns around. You'll see that. Yeah, watch this. Yeah. So, but no. Yeah,
I see.
No, Tony, his tabs come off. He should have waited till he put his bloody dried till he put his bloody clothes back on, or maybe he was just, look.
Yeah,
look. Can you see that?
Yeah. Well, it's not. It didn't. I don't think it mattered, but yeah, it
does matter, but it probably didn't affect his placing because the judges are looking for what they're looking for. But yeah, he was fantastic. I had him as a top 5 guy, but yeah, nice small waist, nice taper, and he beat Nihat. Most people thought would snag second.
Yeah, I had Nihat. I had him in second in my predictions. I remember. I was wowed. The kid looked really good. But this was he's a work in progress. He's 22 or 20. I think he's finally 23, right?
Oh, it's incredible, incredible.
So let's take a look at him.
Yeah.
Wrong one.
Yeah, that's definitely.
There we go. There's Nihat. Yeah, he has so much potential. But you said he was already at the limit for 212.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to see him in 212 for much longer. Maybe one more year.
The only thing I was disappointed by was his back shots. I think his back needs a bit more meat. And the thing is, if he puts the size on his back, is that going to push him out of the 212? I mean, that side tricep is that's like Sean Ray. I mean, that's just beautiful. I mean, it's a crazy shot. I mean, but to be so good, so young, I mean, doesn't it just blow you away, mate?
It does. He looked fantastic.
He ain't gonna come close to Keon or Sean with a back like that. So let's see what he can do, because you don't know. I mean, he might be able to bring the back up and manage to keep coming down to 212. I'm sure. The thing is, he's with the best person, because Patrick knows what he's doing, and he'll know how to advise him best.
Yeah, there's no Courage Opara footage on Gilco, so I'm not showing Courage, but he looked really good. Very, very impressive.
Top six.
He was 5th. Courage was 5th. Yeah. So
yeah. Ex-classic guy just coming in and getting top 5 at the Olympia in a different category. That's bloody impressive. So
classic was it was crazy. It was a very, very close race between these 3 guys. Oh, this lighting really was awful. But geez, I could have had Terrence winning. I could have had Sommerfeld winning. I know he lost a little bit. He had to drop 8 pounds in the last week or so.
Yeah.
Because I think in his heart of hearts, him and Neil knew he's not going to height in any taller than 5'9", which he would have needed to be at least 5'9". And probably when they did their own, I imagine they must have checked his height themselves a few times, pushing that hair down, and realized we got to get down to 204. We got to get down to 204 or less, or else you're going to be disqualified. But he did it, and he didn't lose that much, as far as I could tell.
No, I mean, as he came out, I was like, okay. I mean, they must. I applaud them for doing him and Neil for doing a fantastic job of being able to claw something back. But I did expect him to be how he was, as in a little bit smaller than we saw at the Arnold Classic and the Olympia last year when he took second to Bumstead. Because the thing is, you can't lose. He would have been in absolutely insane conditioning, even when he was thinking he was going to be weighing in at 212, just under 212. But that coming off, because he was 202.4, Ian Valier told me. He's lost 10 pounds there, and then he's got like a day to try and get as much as you can back without spilling or affecting the midsection. So he kind of looked, I think he looked great, but obviously losing 10 pounds of size and whatever fullness is going to affect your physique. There's no getting away with it, I mean, look what happened to Samson, and he's probably lost 20, 25, and you can see it's noticeable, it's clear. So, but I think he looked great. I kept sort of changing my mind with the whole top three, to be honest. It could have gone any way. Yeah. I thought Mike was actually going to win it, but I've got no arguments with the Ramon winning it. The only thing with Ramon is his rear bicep, his back is lacking a bit, but his back looks great in the front. When he does the front of the bicep, he looks fantastic. But I thought purely put on the back, I thought Sommerfeld might beat him. But no arguments. I got no arguments for the top three. Obviously, I was rooting for Ruffin because I've toured with him and I love the guy. But no arguments. I thought Ruffin might get third, but if it gone any other way, wouldn't have argued.
So the Brazilian fans, the Iranian fans were very upset, but the Brazilian fans were ecstatic.
Yeah,
they had the clap. They've been waiting for this guy to win for a long time now. He's been second place at the Olympia before. He's been third. He's been fourth. And I kind of had given up on him. I'll be honest. I just he's never going to win. It's just not. There's always going to be someone. He ran up against Bumstead. Now he's going to have to deal with Sommerfeld's going to keep him from winning. I just didn't think it was going to happen. So I'm very happy that it did happen for him.
Yeah.
I still think I could have given it to Ruffin. I could have given it to Sommerfeld. I have no problem with Ramondino. This was probably the best I've ever seen him. Certainly much, much better than he looked last year. Yeah,
no, I agree. No, he looked great. Like I said, any of those three could have gone any way, and I think no one really kicked up apart from Brazil if it gone any other way. But yeah, I mean, I'm really, really happy for him, and I mean, the kid's got a huge fan base. He's doing absolutely fantastically in the sport, and Brazilian bodybuilding is just and Ramon seems like a really nice kid as well. So I'm happy for him, mate. Really happy for him.
Yeah, he's always stroked my ego, which everybody loves having that done, right? So many times he'd see me. He didn't speak any English, but I was all jacked up and juiced out of my skull covering these shows. And he'd thump me on the chest and go, bodybuilder. I'm like, yes, I am a bodybuilder. very, very nice of you to point that out, Ramon. Appreciate that. So,
yeah, thank you for noticing the gains.
So Terrence Ruffin, man, did not disappoint at all. I think he looked better here than even at the Pittsburgh win. His posing routine was one of the only ones in the whole show where I was like, wow, that is something
amazing, wasn't it? Wasn't it amazing?
Yeah, I don't even know if this isn't even the this was just the 60-second routine, I think, of judging right here.
Yeah.
It's a lighting was better. Lighting was better at the expo.
Yeah, the lighting though, even on this, it looks too bright, and then when you watch it on the live stream, it looks too dark. So that's the one thing. If Dan asks me because I always message Dan usually after Olympia and sort of say, "Well done, mate. I know how much work goes into this. I have an idea of how much is going into it." But that's the one thing they need to do to improve on for next year is the lighting. They need to get in some photographers or videographers or something, or some sort of lighting crew to really improve that. But yeah, Ruffin looked fantastic routine. Didn't expect anything less. Condition was fantastic. Yep. And I know he was a bit disappointed, but because it was, when it is that close, guys who come second and third, like Hadi, they've got a right to be disappointed, mate.
Yeah, so this guy was really surprised. I mean, people were talking about it. You You had him in your top 5. I don't think I did.
No, I didn't. I didn't in the reg. I had him because he was 11th last year because he's from the UK. I said, I think he'll move up. I think he'll move up 3-4 spots. So I saw him as like a 7th to 10th place guy. And then I was arguing with some British fans who says, no, he's going to be top 5, top 6. And I says, no, sorry, don't see it. You got Joe Semmer, Michael the Bull, guys like that. And I think based upon some of his check-in pictures and videos, I thought he actually might look a bit small next to some of the other guys, but I was wrong. I actually had him 4th over Joe Semmer, and I think this guy could win it. I think I really do think he could win it because I think I wouldn't have minded seeing him next to Ramon because I think he's actually as good as Ramon.
Oh, I mean the shape and it's a tremendous physique. It's
that's classic, mate. That is classic.
I mean, when I saw him with he wasn't in the top 3 comparisons, but when I saw him next to Ozema, I was like, he's actually got a much better physique than Ozema. The shape and structure, which you can't change your structure. It is what it is.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, with Bumstead, like that's why Bumstead was so good because he had a beautiful structure that, you can't really compete against if you don't have a similar sort of level of structure. Right. So I had him ahead of Joe Semmer, mate, and I'm a big Joe Semmer fan. Yeah.
Well, he did beat Joe Semmer. So you were right, as usual.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, you did. He was 4th. Josemo Nihat was not Nihat. I'm on the wrong division here. No, did he actually? Who beat who? I can't even remember who was 4th.
Josemo was 4th, and One Punch Nas Niall Darwin was 5th. But I had it the other way around, mate. Like Martin and Sampson.
I assumed it was the other way around. I should have checked my scores a little better. I got to hand it to this kid though, because condition wise, he's only 23 or 24.
Yeah.
Look at that back development. Condition is something that often takes guys years and years to figure out. He clearly had it from day one. He was in better condition than most of the guys up there. Sommerfeld was shredded because he had to be. But go ahead.
If he ever falls out of the top 10, I hope he comes back to open.
I mean, I wonder what this would look like with another 20 pounds, 30 pounds.
Mate, he took 4th in his first open show, and then, like I said, I was like, why is he switching to classic? He's just got 4th in an open show at like 21 years old. This is madness. And then he started going in and just winning classic shows like left and right. So, and obviously now he's top 6, top 5 at the Olympia in the classics. So, but I think if he ever starts to slip down towards the end of the top 10, I think if he falls out of the top 10. He should definitely think about going back to open because being this good, this young, if he can't maintain that top 6, then I think he needs to consider it.
Fair enough. Let's look at a couple of the other champs because I don't want to be that guy that doesn't mention any of the other class winners.
Hang on. UK got three Olympia wins: Rhea Gale in figure, Shelley in fitness, and Ryan Terry. That's 3 Olympia. And if Samson hadn't have stopped eating the last 4 weeks, then we would have had 4 Olympia champions.
Yeah. So Ryan Terry, this is 3 in a row for him, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he looks fantastic. I mean, that's
cool.
I know the face isn't supposed to matter, but that looks like an AI generated face.
Yeah.
Just the jaws, the cheekbones, and the jawline, and all that stuff. It's the physique. I know they're judging the physique, but it's someone else noticed. I don't know if it was you or Mike that they don't wear the loose shorts anymore. Now they're tight. They're like spandex.
I mean, I've seen Ryan's legs. He's got fantastic legs. I mean, he could he could jump on stage. Some of these guys, if they put on trunks, they'd look ridiculous because they've got no legs. But Ryan's got seriously good legs. So, because he said, I asked him, I was at his gym a few years ago, because he's only about 2 hours away from me. Yeah. And he said, well, thing is, Giles, he says, before Men's Physique came along, he says, I was a bodybuilder. He says, I was a novice bodybuilder. He says, and I just decided to do Men's Physique. He says, and as a bodybuilder, I've always trained everything. He says, I train my legs every bit as hard, even though they're not seen with those baggy shorts on. He says, I still train my legs out of pride for how I look as a bodybuilder. Because some of them, they train tactically, especially with this weight cap coming in. They'll stop training their legs so they can hold more size in their upper bodies. And then the thing is, if you saw them on a beach and you bloody put in some swimming trunks or something, they'd look silly, And the thing is, it's not just about what you bring to the stage. It's about, it's like, I mean, I'm never going to compete. I'm never going to compete again. So I stopped training my calves about 10 years. I just gave up on them.
Really?
But like, I don't care. But at the end of the day, I'd never stop training my legs. I'd never stop because I enjoy it, And I think Ryan says I enjoy training legs. He says I'm first and foremost, I'm a bodybuilder, not a Men's Physique.
So I want to give a nod to this guy, Ali Bilal. He looked fantastic, the runner-up. I don't know how to judge men's physique as well as I do the other divisions. So I think it was a clear win. I think Ryan does look a little bit better, but this guy's very impressive as well.
He is. Beautiful midsection. And Ryan's got a better back.
Yes, he does. He does.
But this guy's good, man. I did. That's how I saw it. I thought Ryan, even in the weeks going in, I thought it'll probably most likely be Ryan first and Ali very, very close second, which it was.
Yeah, yeah. He's from Afghanistan, so had to be rough. That's a war-torn country for sure. Maureen Blanquisco got her Bikini Olympia title back.
Yeah, skipped it last year, didn't she?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what happened, but she looks wonderful. She looks wonderful, beautiful. I can still judge kind of bikini, fit model. No, I have no clue.
That's a load of rubbish. I hope they backpedal on that and don't have it at the Olympia because it doesn't deserve to be made. I'm sorry. It's if it brings in revenue and competitors and it helps the coaches get all these athletes, they don't really have to do much to prep because like there isn't a look. It's just girls in bikinis on pretty girls on stage. Just it's like a pageant. I don't even see that it's like a physique contest because it isn't. At least with bikini, you have to have the glutes and a bit of delts and nice midsection and stuff like that. But so obviously, what's her name? The winner of I forgot her name now. The winner of last year's Olympia used to be with Sean Roden. What's her name?
Laurelie Chapados.
Yeah, Laurelie. Yeah, she was sick. She didn't look good at all, man. I don't know what happened there.
Can I say I think she looked natty?
Yeah, she didn't look like the same girl from last year. Let's put it that way. In fact, if that, you asked if it had been, like I said, if that was Samson's first Olympia, what would it have been? Where would he have placed? I think if this had been her first Olympia, I don't think she'd have been top 10, mate. No way.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if she had an injury or illness or personal. I don't know. So I don't. There's someone usually in the comments will say, "You guys didn't know." No, I don't know what was going on in her life or training, or maybe there was some mitigating factor that caused her to drop down like that.
Sorry, guys, but we don't follow bikini religiously. Being bodybuilding journalists, sort of, whatever you want to call us. And
in the end, the judges, it doesn't matter what happened to you or what you went through because they're judging you against everyone else up there. And you can't say, excuse me, I had a hernia, I had this or that, or my...
Yeah, don't matter, visual sport, tough shit.
Exactly. So
tough titty.
This was number 6 for Andrea Shaw, the Ms. Olympia champion, 6 years running now. Again, I don't see anybody really taking her off her throne as long as she wants to keep winning this.
She'll win 10.
She's fantastic. She needs to get to 11 to beat Iris Kyle's record.
Was that 10? Yeah, but Iris Kyle, did she win 10 overall Olympias?
Well, I don't know. 10
she didn't, did she? She didn't. It was the remember it was split into two. Remember it was under there was two. Remember what's the name? Blanchett, Andrea Blanchett. She won the short, and then they had like a tall, didn't they? It was a short and tall, but I think 10 overall Olympias. I don't think Iris Carl's got 8 because I think Linda Murray with 8 overall Olympia titles is the record. I know it's 10. It's technical. You got to be so really, she could win 3 more, and she could be the champion. I think. Yeah, the record holder. She's amazing, isn't she? She's along with along with Sydney Gillen, peak Ronnie, and peak Phil Heath, even peak Dorian. I think she's one of the most dominant Olympia champions we've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, that's if we were doing predictions, I wouldn't have even had to blink before I said Andrea will win again. I mean, she had some great competition. I never want to discount the other competitors, but she's just got great genetics, great work ethic. It's a look that's very, very tough to beat. There's no weak points. When she comes in condition, there's nobody right now that can beat her. She lost to Angela Yao last year at Wings of Strength because she wasn't really peaking for it. She was peaking for the Olympia, and it was 6 weeks between the two shows. But geez, this is Lee Haney there commented, a thing of flawless beauty.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you said it right there. Giles Tiger, there's your comment, along with Sydney and Peak, Ronnie and Phil. One of the most dominant.
Yeah. Do you think did Sydney Gillen help her with her posing? Because this looks very this is like a bodybuilding version of Sydney Gillen's posing.
Well, Sydney's there in the comments saying that's my girl. So I'm guessing.
I can see it. I can see in the way with the transitions. The transitions. I can see that she's. I can see the influence of Sydney Gillen, and it looks bloody fantastic because because Sydney Gillen was like, it was like hypnotic watching her pose, and I see it here as well. She's really, Sydney's really, she's obviously a fantastic posing coach, because the thing with Sydney Gillen, because when it's quarter turns and it's in figure, it's quite boring, really, isn't it? Side quarter, it's just quarter turns. That's all it is. There's no posing. There's no nothing. But the fact that Sydney Gillen could be considered a great poser when it all is quarter turns, it's all about the transitions and the facial expressions and the hands, and like when Vince Taylor used to pose, he was like, his face and his hands were involved as well. Like, you see some guys, and you can see them, and they're just going through their posing routine, their poses in their head. And, like my last show, Ant Bales was in the audience, and I looked down, I was hitting the front lat spread, and Ant says, Giles, he says, smile. I had no idea, because normally I'm usually so excited on stage. I'm always, my smile's beaming. But yeah, the fact that that there's put that much attention in not just the muscle, but the facial expressions and the hands, the body, it's a total visual experience.
Yeah, so this was runner-up Ashley Jones. She looked fantastic.
Yeah, she does.
If it wasn't for Andrea Shaw, this would be your Ms. Olympia right now.
She's good. She's cute.
She's got plenty of muscle. You can see she's on the shorter side.
Look at the glutes.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic.
they come out like an angle, don't they?
I mean,
the top bit of her glutes is like, it's just a muscle in itself. I mean, wow, look at the legs.
Yeah, well, I almost said wellness glutes. They're not quite that big and pronounced, but they're pretty darn good.
Incredible. I've never seen glutes like that, mate.
Let's move on to Natalia. Natalia got her title back. I'm trying to remember. So Sarah had won this 4 times, Sarah Villegas. Mm-hmm. She started winning in 2020. So at one point, Natalia came in and beat her. Was it 2021? Yeah. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. But it's been Sarah for the last 3 years in a row, I think. Yeah. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, I didn't know if Natalia was ever going to get her title back with Sarah until Sarah retired, because I was thinking, well, Sarah keeps coming in consistently shredded. The judges like her look. They keep giving her the win. How's Natalia ever going to beat her? What could she possibly do? Well, she pulled it off. She got her title back. Great job.
Ron, I've got to say, this is the first time I've seen this footage, this Gilco footage. I tell you what, I don't know whether she's just coming lighter or something, but this is an absolutely knockout look for Natalia, and I can see why she won, because I just thought Villegas was going to win. I thought Villegas had done enough to kind of pull ahead, but I really like this look from Natalia. I think this is beautiful, and I think that is, and also this is women's physique. And do you know what? Now you brought up women's physique. You know the whole classic thing, all the height and the weight and everything. Yeah. I mean, there's an argument that women's physique is really the equivalent of classic for the women. If you compare open, like Andrea Shaw bodybuilding to Villegas or Coelho bodybuilding, physique, women's physique, I think, and they don't have a weight or a height cap in this, because it proves that if you give them a criteria, they'll stick to it. But I can see Coelho was slightly better here.
Yeah, this wasn't the best Sarah. I've seen Sarah sharper, and again, that's the problem with being shredded out of your skull, is people always expect that.
Yeah, double.
Yeah, so if you're 3-5% off that, people are going to be like, she was off. Sarah wasn't off. She was a little off for Sarah, and I think that's what it was.
Yeah, you can see she's Coelho. I think Coelho beat her quite clearly here, actually. And the thing is, they've been so neck and neck and close. It's been so like back and forth. I think Coelho beat her quite soundly here, but just by looking at this footage, you're bringing it up now, mate.
Yeah, but Sarah looked fantastic. She's still a 4-time champion. Who knows what'll happen next year? I could see these two going back and forth.
But what do you think about my argument, though, with the whole women's physique difference to women's bodybuilding, to classic bodybuilding, to the open? Do you think there's an argument that they could do away with the height and weight? Because it caused a lot of issues this year, mate. It caused a lot of stress for a lot of competitors and coaches and fans. And, that was, 10 guys didn't get to make, after all that prep, didn't get to walk on stage. And look what nearly happened with Summerfield and Ramon. They nearly didn't make it. Do you think there's an argument for just doing away with it and just hoping that these guys stick to the criteria? I think as though the judges are really going to have to be told, look, this is the male equivalent of women's physique that, to bodybuilding. So you really, really have to stick to it. Do you think the guys could, I suppose if they start marking guys down, if they're looking 20, like say someone like Ramon comes in 20, 25 pounds heavier, or Summerfield looks like a bloody 212 or an open bodybuilder, I suppose they could just say, sorry, you're too big. You look like a bodybuilder, not like a classic. What do you think, right?
I think the classic guys, a lot of them would come in so much bigger. Yeah. If they could keep their waistlines in check and the midsection is still small, I don't have a problem with it. Just calling that classic, well, they're not going to change the name of the division, but you remember classic bodybuilding, which was something that existed as a division in Europe, and they used to have it at the Arnold Amateur. Yep. They did have a height and weight cap, but I think it was a little less restrictive. I think that it was a little more forgiving. I personally would not care if they did away with the weight cap and all that and the weigh-ins. Go by who's got the best aesthetically pleasing physique. But
yeah,
couldn't you say like Samson at the 2024 Olympia? He's aesthetic. That's aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, Rod, don't start, mate, because somebody else, I've seen comments saying that people were saying on the comments, and it wasn't very nice. They're saying, has Samson switched to classic? ? I thought, oh, come on now.
Well, I know
even how he looked at the Olympia on the weekend, he was probably still 40, 50 pounds over. So let's not, but I mean, that's just cruel, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being ridiculous as I
stop being ridiculous, Rod. No, but do you see what Lee Haney was saying? I was going back and forth with Lee Haney yesterday. He was saying he thinks we need another men's division.
Oh, no more divisions, Lee. Come on.
Because he wasn't happy the fact that Derek and Hadi were top two, even though Samson won last year. And if he'd have been bang on, he probably would have maintained his hold on the title. And I was says, no. I says, we don't need more bloody divisions because, it's, I think it was judged fairly. That's basically my point.
Absolutely. So wellness there were several women from Brazil with blonde hair and red suits. But this was the best out of them. No, I'm saying that that's
a really good way of putting it, mate.
But it's true because I'll show you the page. I couldn't tell who was who. I had to click on all three of them because the thumbnail. I was like, which one's that? Which one's that? This is the champion, Eduarda Bezerra.
Is this the lady who won the Arnold?
I don't know. I don't follow wellness, but yeah, she looked fantastic. Congrats to her. But just to show you how similar they do look.
Oh my God.
That was her. This was not this. This is Isa Pereira Nunes. They look like sisters, don't they?
Yeah. It was like when Ashley used to wear the red bikini and then the green bikini, and then like you go to the amateur shows, and I mean, me and Lauren did the live stream at this Hungarian show, and there was just thousands of bikini girls, and they were all coming out with the red and the green bikinis and the hairs, and they copy the posing, they copy everything from the top ladies, So someone like an Ashley wears a red bikini, that's it, the sales of red bikini. Because Lauren speaks to the bikini, she's friends with like the bikini sellers and the makers and stuff, and they're saying, oh God, did you see the green bikini that Ashley wore at the Arnold? Oh my God, everyone now wants green, and I've got 30 orders for green bikinis where I'd normally have like 2, It's so the same with the wellness and the blonde hair and the red bikini, it's a trend.
Yeah. Every single one of them here has a red bikini. Look at that. Am I right?
Yeah, well.
Maybe one got a little orange.
Thing is, they look at what's winning and they think that's what I need to do. I need to dye my hair blonde. I need to wear a red bikini. It's just how it is. Bikini, honestly, it's like when what was her name? What's the name of the girlfriend who won the Olympia? What's her name?
Mark Anthony's.
Yeah. What's her name? I've forgotten names completely.
Jennifer Dory.
Yeah, Jennifer Dory. It's like she came in with slightly soft legs and full of glutes, and then everyone's coming in with soft legs and soft glutes, and and just even just presentation and stuff like that. The women really do, like you got to go into any city and see all the women with all their lips puffed up. You just think who started? It was probably one woman that started that, and somebody walked down the street and thought that looks good, and then everyone gets it done. They really do copy each other. So women, that's something that's a female trait, I think. So, like you saw Bumstead's hair getting done, and you thought, oh, I need to get that done as well.
Oh, you know what? I was because I went to the same. I had already booked because Janet does all my like make her sound like she's my manager or something. And she books all the travel. She's just better at that than I am. We had booked because she was pushing for the hair transplant, not because she was not. It's like you look. I can't look at you anymore with that hairline. I just didn't want to spend the money at the time. And she's like, just do it. And I don't regret it now. But she booked my trip and the procedure at that Now Hair Time in Istanbul before we knew about Bumstead and Ian Valier. So I actually had the whole thing planned. But then when I saw them, I'm like, that's the place I'm going. So I was really eager to see the results. but I was already booked. I didn't get the idea from Chris Bumstead.
Did you use your CBUM10 discount code?
I wish I had. He got it for free, and Ian got theirs for free because he had 30 million followers on Instagram and 3 million YouTube subscribers. So obviously he can give them great marketing in exchange for it. But no, but they knew who he was. They asked me, I said, you know who Chris Bumstead is? Like, of course I know who Chris Bumstead is. They said, yeah, we had a couple big guys here a couple months ago, and it was them. It was Bumstead and Ian.
Apparently, like going back for the UK, apparently like the airports are just full of like guys with the it's like really that many people getting it done. So I would never consider it. I was just
you don't need it. You actually don't. Your hairline has not moved up. You just choose to shave your head.
Yeah, pretty much. I just have one on the side. I have one on the top and then half on the side. They just trim it, so I can feel it. It needs doing actually now. I can feel the hair starting to come through. So I need to.
Yeah, I actually think you're smart for keeping like Jason Statham a little bit of stubble instead of that shiny, completely bald. That looks fine on some people, but like for instance, Nick should grow his hair back. That's my personal opinion. I don't like the way he looks with that bald head. It doesn't suit him. I don't think it suits him. Some people can pull it off, and some people no.
But then you look on the other one. Did you see that Smashing Machine film with The Rock with hair?
Yeah.
And it's like they said, he really transformed to do this role. I says, no, he just wore a wig. It's exactly the same guy. It's just him with hair, and he looks completely different.
I mean, if you for Halloween, maybe you'll put a wig on for me and show me what it looks like.
But I mean, talking about that film though, it's about that guy Mark Kerr. I think they should have based it upon his brother Juan.
Wanka. Got me again.
So many people didn't get that one on Instagram. I was really that ruined my day when I went back the next day and there was no likes or laughs or comments.
Guys, you have no idea.
Got my terrible joke.
You don't know how many jokes you're missing on the group chat with Tiger. It's just
like the one with when you see The View, that female show with Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh God, what about
it? I said she's never. I said, yeah, come on, go easy on her, Whoopi. She's never been the same since she divorced Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing? Oh, Whoopi Cushing. I was like, Peter Cushing? Most of these viewers don't even know who Peter Cushing is. But
what about when Cardi B divorced Tommy Gunn?
Cardi Gunn. What would it be?
Cardigan.
Cardigan. Oh God, please go right over my head.
I feel so alone.
Anyway, guys, that's been almost an hour and a half. I think we missed a couple divisions, so I apologize. The wheelchair, I didn't see any footage or anything, but congratulations to all the Olympia champions. It was a fantastic show. Again, I'm a big baby. I was crying all night about, it's so late. You were like, hold my beer. It's 5 hours ahead over here, but it was all worth it. It was
hold my pee bucket.
I didn't say anything.
You gonna confess? You gonna confess?
Okay. No, people are gonna think I'm disgusting, but I didn't want to keep leaving the room. But I can't go 4 hours without going guys. So
yeah. So also Rhea Gale, the British girl winning figure, that was incredible, and also Lauren's sponsored athlete Shelley winning the fitness. That was huge for us Brits. I mean, that was amazing.
I think she did have something on there. So yeah, let me give. She figure people are going to have my head, but I think they had some footage of Rhea.
She was fifth last year. And I think the year before, I'm pretty sure she didn't even qualify. Because I remember she was gutted she wasn't going. And I was like, there's always next year, and you can come back. Because she's moved to Florida. She moved to Florida years ago.
Oh, wow.
And for a Brit to do that, I mean, that's a huge leap of faith to kind of pursue your dreams. And like when Flex Lewis moved to America and stuff, it was a big deal leaving Wales and stuff. So for her to do that and then literally 1 year not qualifying and then a year or two later, winning the Olympia. I mean, it's just amazing. So happy for them. They're lovely people as well.
Rhea, there's Missy. Where's Rhea? Is Rhea? I want to find the right person before I click over. That's Sharonica.
Oh, my flights are all booked for Prague.
Oh boy, yeah, that's coming right up. So, but are you gonna? You won't be attending the British Grand Prix, I'm guessing.
No, Martin. It's actually the Nabi Universe in the same town this weekend. So, but Martin versus a 220 Keon is going to be interesting next weekend. Plus Crizo, plus whoever else jumps in. So
I got to find Rhea's. Rhea Gale. There we go. She must have some footage on her. They didn't see it.
She looked great.
I mean, we're talking to a guy from the UK here, so I want to make sure we give a little love. Give a little love. So
Give a little love. Get down tonight.
Nerd. I can do this, Ron. Come on, Ron. You can do it.
Come on, Ron. I've got faith in you. Come on, man.
No, I can do it.
I know you're getting old, but come on.
I am getting old. All right, so here she is.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Crazy.
That's better. It's not as dark as that. Again, the expo lighting was so much better. 2019, she was 13th place.
Yeah. Keep going.
That's
2019.
2020, 9th place. 21, 16th. Uh-oh, she went back. 2022, 12. 2023, 7. 2024, 5th. And 2025, 1 lugar. First place. Good job.
Oh, bless her. That's amazing. That's amazing. I remember when she turned pro in the UK, so that's going to, obviously that, I mean, to anyone it's good, but that's going to mean unbelievable amounts. And it's going to probably transform her life as well. So I'm really happy for her. And she won 50K as well.
Did Lawrence make that suit or have that suit? What is no?
No. I don't think. I think she helped her out a couple of years ago with a few things, but she doesn't sponsor her.
Okay. Yeah. So congrats, because we knew Sydney retired and there was going to be a new figure champion. So
I thought it'd be Lola, Missy, and Jessica, because I thought actually, okay, Jessica. Thing is though, like Jessica was getting big. But she was getting rewarded for it. She was getting seconds at the Olympias and winning Masters Olympians. She was winning unbelievable amounts of pro shows. Yeah. So I just thought, it was headed that way. So this looks, I mean, the difference between Rhea and Jessica is quite vast in terms of muscularity and size. So they looks like they've really tried to kind of pull it back a bit, because otherwise it just, women's physique and figure just kind of just blur into each other.
I have seen so many shows where there were women in figure that were bigger than the women in physique. This girl should jump into the physique. I've been to shows where the same woman has won both amateur shows, figure and physique, in the same show.
Wow. I've seen it in amateur. Loads of times. There was a girl in Sweden. She won the figure pro card and she won the pro card in women's physique as well. It happened this year. Yeah. I mean, some of the really big figure girls, they just don't train their arms as much. So if they posed, they just look like women's physique with small arms. True. But some of them, I mean, because obviously it's all about shoulders and X-frame and glutes and everything in figure. It is a slightly different look. But some of them, if they train their arms a bit, like if Jessica just started training her arms a bit harder, she could jump in. I mean, you don't know what they're going to look like when they flex, because some physiques come alive, some don't. You know, you've seen some physiques when they stand the front relaxed, and that's them at their best. So if you've got the X-frame and you look your best when you're stood there in that front relaxed, side relaxed, then you're meant for figure.
Natalia she came from figure, right?
Yeah. 2017, she would because I was arguing on the forum saying she needs to switch to physique because she was pushing her legs together. Yeah. She was trying to hide the size of her quads because they were huge, and everyone told me I was crazy. And I said, well, their rationale was, well, if she's still winning pro shows in figure, why would she switch? Then she went to the Olympia, got 16th, and then a few weeks after, she did a show in Florida to qualify for the following year into 2017. Went to the 2018 Olympia and took 3rd place. So I was like, who's right again?
Tiger always knows. You said, I mean, I remember at the time when she was figure and she was switching over, you said she needs to build up the arms and then she'll do much better. And it's exactly what because she always had great quads. Yeah. Her arms took a couple of years to catch up once she made that switch, but we saw what happened. She's now, is that her second title? Yeah. So congrats.
And I'm not always right, because I was wrong about hers. I thought Samson would come in and win this quite easily. Yeah. We're just, like I said, it's an interesting sport because, like I said, some guys look better, some look not as good. It was an interesting Olympia. I feel it's the most pumped I've felt from an Olympia since 2020 when Rami won. This is the most excited an Olympia has given me. It was amazing, and I tried training legs as well yesterday because after having because I went to bed at 7:30, I got up at 9:30. I was online arguing with people, and then I went to the gym and I did hamstrings, and my head was thumping so much. I was doing some glute ham hypers to get ready for squats, and my head was banging. I went, I'm gone. Yeah. So I went to Nando's and ate lots of food.
I can't believe I was like, this guy's really going to think he's going to train legs today. You tried. You gave it the old college try. I tried. Yesterday was Sunday. Today's Monday. I was able to train, but I had a little nap. I got up. and I slept last night. I'm not a big baby now. I'm all caught up on my sleep, so it's all good. Anyway, guys, in the comments, let us know what you think. I know a lot of you are upset about the results. If your particular athlete that you were not or that you were hoping would win didn't win, you're probably very upset right now. There's a lot of butthurt Hottie fans, and I feel your pain. It was very, very close. Derek just nudged him out, but it was a 2-point decision, guys. And Hottie did win the finals. He beat Derek in the finals, but it's 2 days of judging. It wasn't enough to beat him.
Do you think Hottie will do the Arnold?
I think so.
Do you? Yeah. Because I'm thinking of 750 as well. I mean, that's not to be sniffed at, and he is really the highest ranked guy. I mean, he's just beat Andrew, who was at his all-time best. He's beat Martin, so why would he give up the opportunity to? And Derek's not going to be there. He's pretty much said it at the press conference yesterday. So why would he turn down 750, the chance to win that? Because really, unless Samson kind of puts his 30-pound back on and just comes back all guns blazing, which I do actually expect him to. I don't think this is. Because like I said, people said, this is the end for Derek. He's done. And it's like, that was third place last year. So you can see what happens when you really make someone angry. And look what happened to Ronnie in 2002 when he lost to Gunter. I mean, that was probably humiliating for a guy who just competed against, who got 5th in the Olympia, the 2002 Olympia, and then to get beat by him a few weeks later at the GNC. And then, I mean, it's conceivable that Samson could maybe pull that kind of maybe might just come in and try and come in at like 310, 315 and just say, right, okay, I know I'm aesthetic and I'm just going to come in absolutely huge. You don't know. You never know what's going to happen because these next few months, man, are going to be interesting. And I don't think Samson would come back and try the same approach because it clearly didn't work.
The last thing I want to mention is I was a little surprised the prize money did not increase at all from last year.
Yeah, I thought that they might bump it up to 800 or something, but it needed to stop though, that kind of whole going back and forth because it was a bit silly, wasn't it? I
can't see them holding it 600 next year though. If next year's Arnold is 750, because then Arnold can hold that over them, saying we give out a better prize package than you do.
True.
So I think next year they're going to match that with the 750. And yeah, I agree with you. They can't keep. What are they going to give the open guys like $1 million, $2 million, and most of these other divisions are only making 50,000 at the Olympia. I think Classic got 100 only because Bumstead kicked in another 50 for them.
Yeah, which is like pocket change for him. But I'm not criticizing. I think that's fantastic. It's amazing. But also, I mean, like think of Samson. The thing is, he was probably fully expecting to win that 600K, and he went home with 40. That is a drop. That is a drop. So I reckon 100% he'll be doing the Arnold. And I don't think I see him jumping into the Grand Prix or Prague. I just don't see it happening because I think he knows that he can't, when he looks at the photos and the videos and thinks, oh shit, we can't pull this back in just a couple of weeks, because I mean, the British show's next weekend. It's in my I can see it from my garden. But I think he'll look to redeem himself and do what kind of Derek did. And then hopefully use the win and the kind of I'm back and then use that as momentum to get his title back next year. But then again, I could see Andrew winning the Arnold and the Olympia next year, mate. If he keeps his improvements going, I've been talking to him this morning. I've been saying this morning. I said, mate, you could win. You could do a Derek next year and win everything. Yeah,
I mean, who would? He got so much love and support at this show. So many people would love to see him win Arnold, but especially the Olympia, because when he came on the pro scene, he turned pro in early 2022. A lot of people are already saying this guy's a future Mr. Olympia, but other people started losing hope. So I lost a little hope. I'm like, he's never going to be Mr. Olympia. He's just not. I don't see him getting any better. I just see the same Andrew show after show, and he really surprised the hell out of me. And all the props in the world to him.
His name's back in the hat now, isn't it? As being a serious contender. Because, like I said, there was a lot of people. There's a lot of people that thought Andrew was going to win this. Literally based upon what they saw on stage, they're like, he could win this. I think he's going to win. Like some people whose opinion I actually really respect. They were like, he could, he doesn't, it's not. It wouldn't have been inconceivable, but I did see him as coming a solid third.
Yeah, great job, Andrew. Great job, and great job, Derek, getting his title back. Yeah. Again, only the second time in 61 years that's ever happened. Lose the Olympia and get it back. Someone said, well, Franco was Mr. Olympia different years. Yeah, but he never lost it. He never was defeated as the Mr. Olympia champion. That's the difference there. Yeah. Jake Cutler was and Derek was.
Hang on, why didn't Franco do the 77 Olympia then?
I think that's when he had that bad injury from doing the work.
Yeah. World's strongest man, yeah.
He was running with a refrigerator strapped to his back, and he totally. I think the leg turned all the way around from the knee down.
See, that's like Samson deciding as an off-season like test to himself, he's going to go do Britain's Strongest Man, and then, you don't do stupid things like that. Like Victor Martinez when he did that arm wrestling thing, and he was a few weeks out from the show, and he ended up snapping his arm. It's like you don't arm wrestling. Weightlifters stick to your game, stick to bodybuilding, and don't risk injuries because your body is your living. And if you look at Andrew's midsection there. Yeah, my God, look at it. It's beautiful.
Great.
Beautiful.
Stay in your lane is what we say in America. Stay in your lane, guys. Know what you're good at.
Because the thing is, there's a lot of very talented athletes out there. There's very like Missy. She's like you could imagine her as like as a sprinter or like a bloody javelin thrower. You can imagine she like Missy. She's power lifter. She was a cheerleader. She was a competitor. She was like really like a proper athlete that is competitive in any sport. But so guys, don't do stupid things in the gym. It's can imagine if like Ronnie doing that 6 weeks out, that 800-pound squat. Can you imagine if he'd have torn his quad? It would have been game over, mate.
Obviously, yeah. Yeah, arm wrestling in particular, guys, just stay the hell away from arm wrestling. Stay away from combat sports if you're a bodybuilder. It's just not worth the risk. Yeah,
mate. I started weight training because I got beaten by a girl in an arm wrestle when I was 13.
Oh boy, what a story!
I went home because I had some weeded dumbbells and they were covered in dust. I'd never even used them. I had 10-pound sand-filled dumbbells. And I went home. I got beaten by a girl called Lisa Tamplin when I was 13 years old. She's actually on my Facebook now.
She a big girl?
And, what?
Was she a big girl?
No, just a normal size girl, which makes it even worse, more embarrassing. And I went home and I did 130 reps on one arm. I didn't even train the right arm. I was literally walking around like C3PO for a week with one arm. Yeah,
C3PO.
I was doing like the motorcycle stance, but with one arm, like a teapot.
That's hilarious. All right, well,
what an idiot. He's like, oh, yeah, what inspired you to start weight training? Was it Rocky or Arnold? It's like, no, a girl beat me in an arm wrestle and everyone laughed at me.
Well, at least you have a different story. So many of us have the same boring stories. It's right. I saw Rambo. I saw Pumping Iron. Okay. I've heard that about 10,000 times before.
Yeah, I should lie really. I should lie really and come up with some cool story. But I've got me. If I'm known for one thing, it's being honest.
Tiger is truthful. That is absolutely. All right. Well, we're pushing toward 2 hours, so it's time to call it. Guys, leave some comments below. I'm sure some of you are ecstatic about the results of the Olympia weekend. Some of you were not. Let me know what you thought. And of course, if you have great things to say about our show or commentary or awful things to say about us, leave it all in the comments because it helps me when you make comments, and even when it's bad stuff. So, Giles, thank you once again. Next week, you're going to be very, very busy. You have your Ronnie Coleman tour coming right up. You have the Prague commentary coming up that weekend. So I don't know if we're going to get a power hour with you next week.
Yeah, get one next week, of course. Yeah. I mean, we haven't booked the flights. We're going to look at flights for probably fly Ronnie on Thursday.
Okay.
So Monday, Tuesday, I'm free. I'm about,
All right, we'll talk about the British Grand Prix results next week because as of this recording, the list isn't out. We don't even know who decided from the Olympia to jump in. I'm sure we're going to get some top Olympia competitors in that show. So join us next week.
Tiger won't be allowed at that one.
Tiger won't be. That's okay. That's okay. You have your reasons. All right, guys. So thank you so much, Giles, as always. Check him out on Instagram. Check me out on Instagram. There's our accounts there. That's it for another edition of Power Hour. Appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you right here